So I came across this video on TikTok by a brother who goes by the name of Walt USA, and he's talking about his trip to Africa. And he feels like the way he went into Africa, the mindset versus the way he was treated, and what he thinks about it now that he has left Africa is really interesting. Take a look.
Okay, I'm going to talk to you about my first time in Africa years ago. The moment I got to the hotel, I looked at the security guard there and noticed he didn't have a gun. And I was very uncomfortable with that because he was wearing a pair of sandals and no gun. They took me to my room. My door only had one lock. So I told the people at the hotel, I need a safe to hide my money in. This is not a safe place. So they brought me a little bitty safe that you could just carry around. And I said, all right, they must be trying to set me up. I know they're trying to set me up. So I stayed up that night and I went to sleep, got up that morning, and they called me for breakfast. I said, all right. So they're trying to lure me out of the room. So while I'm eating breakfast, they can come in and rob me, take all my money. So I put all my money in my pocket and left about 1,000 CDs on the table. And when I got back, the money was still there. In fact, the room was clean. Okay. Now, my point is this. I was never going to give them a chance. I was never going to give them, in my mind, a chance to prove that they were not going to do anything. Every turn, they were going to try something underhanded and low down. You see, that is how Black Americans are programmed to think. And it happens to us in our own country. Other groups think that way about us, whether we do something or not. And at that point, I had called my cousin and I said, hey, man, we got to change. We are wrong. When we come here with the wrong mindset. We should not be this way. Just because we're treated this way in our own country of birth doesn't mean that we have to act and behave the way that the oppressor behaves. So my point in being is, because of those experiences, I even decided when I got home, I said, I'm not carrying a gun anymore. I'm not going to carry a weapon. I'm going to just give people the benefit of the doubt because I've seen better and I've learned better. All right.
So as you can hear, he went in thinking, oh, you're going to steal my money. Why don't you have a weapon? What's going on here? You're setting me up. He even put them to the test by leaving 1,000 Sadies on his desk. And he came back to see that his room was cleaned and everything was left exactly the way he left it. So he realized, well, wait a second. Nothing's like what the engine is feeding us, as he said. The question begs, who's the engine? Right? Who's the engine that's feeding this information, and why are we taking that in and, taking it as gospel without actually visiting the country ourselves to see? And not only just visiting, doing your homework, doing the research to see, okay, if I'm going to go to Ghana, let me do some reading and research. I mean, these days we have so many resources, right? To really understand where you're going, right? So he clearly just went in based on what he saw. So again, back to the question, who's the engine? Well, media for sure, right? Media for sure. What we see oftentimes when it comes to Africa is just poor, starving people with distended bellies. And, it's a third world country and there's nothing going on. Everybody's suffering and all of that other stuff. And, countries like Nigeria, we always talk about just the scams, and we don't really educate ourselves on what else that country has to offer. And so this brother thought for sure, well, man, if you don't have a weapon, I'm gonna get robbed. Something's fishy here. He even went down to, you're wearing sandals. Like, he was just thinking the most, and the most that was nothing good. And he realized after his visit, which clearly was a good time, obviously, and he felt safe and he enjoyed himself. And as he said, he called his cousin and said, we have to change our mindset after his visit. He enjoyed himself and he ultimately felt safe in the end. Now, let me just talk to his comment about he's putting away his weapon now that he's back in the United States. I don't know about all of that, okay? We as black people in the United States, it's a different uh, lifestyle for us and a different reality. And that goes for Canada as well. So, with the way the climate is and the racial unrest that just keeps to be ramping up and nothing is really, in my opinion, improving, I don't know that I would put away my weapon now. I think, we still have to be prepared to defend ourselves with the way that this world is going in this North America. So I'm not sure about that, but clearly he had a real eureka on his trip and he feels like, you know what? I'm going to shift the narrative in my mindset even at home. Again, not sure about that one, but okay. Nevertheless, this is just another example of why I always say, listen, we're not the enemy, right? People in Africa, people in the Caribbean that are black, because we do refer to ourselves as black, are not your enemy. Granted, there are some that do love to say, I'm not black, I'm not black, I'm Somali, I'm not black, I'm Ethiopian, I'm not black. At the end of the day, the way that you're going to be identified is what I keep saying, is as a black person. So you can say that all you want, and all that does is create a divide between the black community as a collective. So you need to stop doing that, okay? And I'm talking to black people in Africa and other parts of the Caribbean that love to just say they're not black and look down on black Americans. Cut that out. And again, we should all unify. And I strongly do believe that everybody should, and when I say everybody, I'm just referring to black people, should visit Africa at least once in your life. And I know a lot of you black Americans are like, I'm good, I'm good. Y'all just don't want to be black. Y'all say you're not black. I'm good, I'm good. I do think that if you were to visit Africa, you would see a difference based on what you are hearing and seeing. And that includes what you're hearing and seeing by some African people. Okay? When you get there and you hit that soil, you will see a difference. And that goes for Africans who are talking smack about black Americans. Go to America and you will see a difference. So, what we need to do is stop all of that in talking, backbiting, ignorant comments that you don't even know what you're talking about each other, and unify. And again, all of this lack of unification and this delineation mindset and all that stuff only benefits one group of people, and it's not us, it's the folks. So we just need to get there. And that's my opinion, my thoughts, my processes, my mindset as it relates to that. I love Americans, okay? I love black Americans. I love all black people from all walks of life, okay? I take the time to educate myself on the countries and what have you, and the people and the culture, so that when I'm going in there, I'm not going in based on what I hear or what the media says. I'm going in informed. And that's what I strongly encourage everybody to do, and not let that noise get to you. And that's my 2 cents. But brothers and sisters, let me know what you think about this. Drop your comments in the chat. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the African Diaspora News Channel app. Grab it from your Google or Apple store. You will not be disappointed. Download that app and subscribe. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Truth in Black Excellence, with yours truly, Emma Ansah. Until next time, please be safe.